Hi guys, welcome and thank you for joining me for my little recreation project. First and foremost, I just want to emphasize that I am not the original creator of this build. I haven't been able to find out who this needs to be credited to, so if you know, please drop a comment below so that I can ensure our fellow Palian gets the credit that they so absolutely deserve for this one. So this screenshot has come up on a few of my social feeds and it's just this one. There's no other angles, no other details, and I have seen so many people asking how they can recreate it, which is understandable as it's visually stunning. My aim is to do this build from scratch to show you what you'll need and what techniques you'll need to know to recreate this little masterpiece. There's two important things to note before we press forwards, however. One, I will be using some creative placement for this project. The cancellation glitch that I'm going to show you is absolutely possible on console with some controller configuration, or a friend can help you do it. The flick method, however, is only achievable on PC to the best of my knowledge, and it can't even be done with help from someone who has editor permissions on your plot. And the second thing is that after playing around with this build just to make sure I'd got it right, it came to my attention that while the inside looks amazing, the placement of the pergola creates what I'm going to call an unexpected conflict on the exterior. And by that I mean the pergola extends out past all three external sides of the hallway section that we're going to use. This isn't shown in any of the screenshots, so it was a little bit unexpected. I played around with it and I've included my fix for the issue. By all means, feel free to play with some other creative decor to minimise the unwanted effect on your own builds. But yeah, with all that taken into account, let's take a quick look at what we're going to need.
Cool.
So the first thing we are going to want to do is go into our overhead menu so we can set up our hallway section. So pick whichever room you want your Nook to come off. Make sure there's nothing else in the way. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to pop mine onto the front of my right hand room just here. And then what I'm going to do is get a Killimer bay window and add that to the front. What I'm also going to do while I'm here is select the hallway section options and just remove the windows from either side. And then also in the room that you've attached your hallway section to, you need to ensure that this option here, the doorway option, is changed from the single doorway option to the open concept option. And then what we'll do is have a quick look at the items we're going to need. So, one of the most important parts of this build is the trusty gourmet cup. I will be using this for group selection. I will also be using this for the flick method. I will also probably end up using it for the cancellation method, but we'll see. You need the wood shingle siding wallpaper. This is what's been used as the floor in the screenshot, so we will be using the flick method to make sure that we can get that down. You'll also need the windy Wisteria wallpaper. This is expensive. You can get it from the register at Zeki's Underground. I think it's 20 or 25,000 gold, I'm not sure which. You'd need a spring fever pergola. You'll also need a moonstruck couch that's been recoloured to berry using the modification bench. You need a log cabin chandelier, a spa day scent tray, a makeshift chapper hide rug, a moonstruck fungi planter, some datura flowers, some veronica flowers, a moonstruck table lamp, the Killamut succulent planter, a star quality glow bug of some description, and then for the exterior I've added some yardwork wooden pillars. I've got 2 of those, and I've also brought out some of the yardwork stone pillars. Please bear in mind that you can only purchase these from Kenley's register upstairs in the town hall after you have purchased all of the writs for your plot. These aren't required, but I again have used them for my fix for that unexpected item issue on the exterior. And then lastly, you need a tree. I've used an oak tree just to try and replicate the green foliage that you can see in the screenshot. And that, I believe, is everything. So the first thing I want to do on the inside is make these walls look a little bit prettier. So either side there, just pop the Wisteria wallpaper on. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to show you the flick method. Just to forewarn you, I am not good at explaining this. What I need to do is put my gourmet cup down on the floor inside the hallway section. And then I'm going to give myself almost a top-down view so that I am looking at the cup and the floor from above. I'm going to go into my edit mode. I'm going to pick up the gourmet cup and I'm going to stand right on top of it. I'm going to pull it back towards me and stand right above it so that the red warning box that says something is in the way and the little red ring around the cup is visible. That's what we want. The other thing you need to bear in mind here is where your wallpaper is in your inventory. This is why you can't really do this one on console because it'll involve switching from one to the other without having the placement options and without being able to do this really quickly. It's almost impossible. I'm not saying it is definitely impossible, but I've not managed to make it work on a Switch or a PS5 yet. So we want the shingle siding, which is number 2 in my inventory. We don't want to place that down, but I just need to know where it is. So that's number 2. I'm going to pick up that cup. I'm going to make sure it says something is in the way. And then what I'm going to do is when I click on my left mouse button, I am almost at exactly the same time going to press the number 2 for my inventory bar. And what should happen is that we confuse the game into thinking that we're trying to put the wallpaper on the floor. It's quite a simple but effective one, and as long as you can get your timing right, you'll use this everywhere. It's great. So the next thing I want to do involves the cancellation method, which is far simpler than it sounds. And what we need to do is with our light, rotate it to however you like. I believe it's sort of at this angle in the screenshot that I've seen. Pop that on, get it into place. Looks pretty good. Maybe it needs to go a little bit further back. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do with the cancellation method, what you need to make sure of is that you have something selectable in your inventory. So something that you can place down on the floor, an item if you will. So at this point, number 7 would work really well. You can also do this with food, as long as you've got star quality food in your inventory. Lots of streamers, lots of YouTubers use things like plushies to make it really obvious what they've done. I, however, will probably just use my gourmet cup. So what we need to do is go up to this light fitting, pick it up, and then bring it out into another room, but do not place it. Don't place it down yet. What you're going to do instead is just press the number in your inventory, same as we did for the flooring, that relates to the other thing that you want to select. So in my case it's the gourmet cup, which is in the number 1 slot. I press that. As you can see, it has put that set of lights on the ceiling over there, and now I've got my cup in my hand. But I promise you, it's still in there. And to prove it, I will reload. There we go. So again, I made sure that I didn't place the light fitting. I cancelled it out and it's disappeared. It's gone to exactly where it was before I moved it. This afterthought was brought to you today by things that are probably important enough that I should have mentioned them whilst recording. Once you have cancel placed an item, if you pick it up again and place it anywhere else for real, i.e. with the left mouse button or your select button on whichever console you're using, it will remember this new position and it will not revert back to its original spot that you chose before you used the cancel glitch. If you cancel glitch an item and realise that it's going to get in the way or that you need to move it again for whatever reason, you can just pick it up from where it is and cancel glitch it again to somewhere else. Just bear in mind that the moment you place it again for real, it will forget its original placement and you will have to start your cancel glitch for that item again from scratch. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to move it somewhere over here, but not press the left mouse button. And instead, I'm just going to press the number 1 to select my cup. The light is moved. The cup was in my hand. But technically, according to the game, that light is still in place just up here. The next thing I want to do is get the pergola in. So what you'll notice, if I select the pergola now, wherever it's gone, if I open it up here, it's sideways on. If you look at the screenshot, it's this way on with that wood detailing at the front. If I try and flick method this pergola in from this angle, it will be this way round. We don't want that. We want it to be the other way. So what we have to do is approach it sideways. Either go into your hallway section to the left or to the right. I'm going to do mine to the right and face into the middle of the room. You're going to bring your cup back out and place it on the floor in line with that yellow line that goes horizontally across the centre of that hallway. If you also look at your white, pink grid lines where you've got your individual squares, what I'm doing is I'm placing the cup sort of in the second yellow square along in this grid section closest to the window. So 1, 2, and then pop it down. Make sure that you've got your pergola showing in your inventory. So mine's number 4. What I'm going to do is stand over my cup again, pick it up, stand right over it, bring that cup back towards me, and as I click my left mouse button, press the number 4 as well. And as you can see, we have successfully glitched in our pergola. Now I'm not 100% happy with that placement, so I'm going to redo that really, really quickly. I'm going to drag it back a little bit. Ah, see, that didn't work because I've picked the pergola up and it's gone into a different slot in my inventory. So now it's in number 1 on this row. See, it doesn't always work first time. If it doesn't work first time, you just go back into your edit mode and try again. Aha, at last. That's still not quite in the centre, and I'm not happy. Let's try that. Okay, now I think it's a little bit further in the opposite direction, but okay. So, as you can see, this is now glitched in beautifully. But what I'm going to show you now is what I referred to at the beginning of the video, which is this unexpected external aspect. So as you can see, the sides, the front, yeah, not ideal. So my fix for this was to take the yard work pillars, whichever ones you like, make sure they sort of line up with each other, and pop those down. So rather than trying to hide it, or rather than having to hide it, especially if it's on the front of your house, draw attention to it. Make it part of... It's almost like a Bob Ross happy accident. So I much prefer the wood pillars with these. These look almost on purpose. If you imagine, then you can put some flowers underneath here, or maybe a chest or something to that effect. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then with the tree, what we do is we sort of place it quite close to the house. And what you'll see is that the branches glitch in. If I go back inside, there's lots of greenery in here, but it's still not quite in the right place. So maybe closer? Closer might work. There's lots more greenery in here now, which is wonderful. Now, obviously, this light, according to the game, is still here in situ, but we can't see it at the moment. So what we need to do is swap plots again. If I disappear off this one, hello, go to a different plot, and then come back. Head back inside. And we'll see that our light is still in here. So the next job is couch placement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a moonstruck couch down that is not berry flavoured. It's the berry colourway. No, berry flavoured. Our berry flavoured couch. And I'm just going to put our cup down on top of it. Now, normally, when you're trying to select things, you can either select the couch or the cup. But what you can do, and you can do this on console as well, is group select. Now, on PC, it's Alt, and on console, I know on PlayStation 5 it's one of your trigger buttons. What you need to make sure of when you do a group select is that you are hovering over the smaller item. So I'm going to hover over the cup, I'm going to press Alt. Now you see how that selection line, that green line, has gone all the way around the couch, but it's still only saying to pick up the gourmet cup. That's what we want. We want to tell the game that the item we are moving is smaller than it is. So I'm going to left click that now to pick it up. I'm going to rotate it, And I'm just going to place it in here now. According to the screenshot, the cushion on the right hand side is right up against that wall, so you can't see any of this arm. The cushion is right up against that wall just there. That looks about right to me, so I'm just going to place that down. And I'm going to pick up the cup. And straight away, it's looking a little bit more like we expected it to. Now for the Spa Day scent set, I'm just going to turn that round a little bit and make sure that's placed. I'll switch it on as well, because why not? And then up on the windowsill, we've got the Moonstruck lamp. We've also got the succulent. I'm just going to get up here. There you go. We're also going to take our glow bug, rotate him ever so slightly. There, he looks really good just there. Then, I just can't remember which way around the rug is for the placement. It looks as though his head is facing this way and his tail is under the rug. So I'll pop him just there. The cauldron needs to go on the left hand side, just in front of the couch. Spin it around however you feel fits, but I'm just going to leave that like that. And then pop a couple of Datura flowers down. I can also see that around this cauldron there's some Veronicas. Okay, so there isn't really space for the Veronicas just there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate what we did earlier on with the chandelier. I'm going to pick up the cauldron, not put it down, and then select something different out of my inventory so it looks like it's moved. And then I'm just going to place down the Veronicas. And then to make this move back to where we want it, because if you pick it up and replace it, it will immediately stay where you placed it. It won't glitch itself in, so you have to just leave it where it is. Swap plots. Come back to your build. And let's have a look at that. And there you have it, a mildly chaotic interpretation of what I've decided to call the Whimsy Wisteria Nook. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found at least one helpful thing in this video. If you have any questions, or if there's any other projects you'd like to see me struggle through, please let me know in the comments. Love you, bye!